Spin to win in Pakistan, players quitting first-class cricket, and Joe Root thriving in the SA20. Welcome back to episode 2 of In Case You Missed It, where we try to cover all the news stories, big or small, from the last week of cricket. Let's jump straight in and start with India's Champions Trophy squad. Jasprit Bumrah is still an injury concern, but he's at least made the provisional squad for now, with India hoping to test his fitness towards the end of the ODI series against England. Kuldeep Yadav is also in as he continues to recover from his hernia surgery in November, and as we mentioned last week, Mohammad Shami is back too. Perhaps surprisingly, there's no room for Mohammad Siraj, with Arshdeep Singh selected as the third frontline seamer. Rohit Sharma will lead the side with Shubman Gill as his vice-captain, while Yashasvi Jaiswal, yet to play in ODI, is also in the 15. Rishabh Pant was preferred to Sanju Samson as the squad's extra keeper. Elsewhere, the BCCI has introduced a new set of guidelines for India's players to follow in the wake of consecutive Test series defeats. There are 10 points in total, including mandatory participation in domestic matches, limited family time on tours, team travel to games, and more. Rohit has also been named in Mumbai's Ranji Trophy squad. He last played in November 2015. Before we continue, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all our latest videos and podcast episodes. And if you want even more from Wisden, head over to our Patreon channel for extra bonus content starting from just £5 per month. Now, Pakistan haven't announced their Champions Trophy squad at the time of recording, but they have been in test action this week. The first test against West Indies in Multan was comfortably over inside 3 days, with Pakistan winning a low-scoring match by 127 runs. I said Sajid Khan and Noman Ali were back to cause carnage last week, and that's exactly what happened on another turning pitch. Sajid took 9 wickets in a match, Noman 6 and Abrar Ahmed the other 5. It's the third home test in a row that Pakistan spinners have taken all 20 wickets, having changed tactics midway through the England series at the end of 2024. West Indies left-arm spinner Jomel Warrikan also enjoyed conditions, setting a new record for the best figures by a visiting spinner in Pakistan. But in truth, it was a test to forget for the visitors, who batted for a total of just 61.5 overs across both innings. In fact, numbers 9, 10 and 11 were their 3 top scorers in the first innings. That's the first time that's ever happened in tests. Staying in Pakistan briefly, fast bowler Ihsanullah this week retired and unretired from franchise cricket in less than 24 hours. The 22-year-old said he would boycott the PSL after going unsold in last week's draft, but retracted his statement shortly after, recognising he'd made the decision in an emotional state of mind. Ihsanullah picked up an elbow injury during his first ODI series in April 2023 and only made his comeback in December 2024 as a result of the PCB mishandling his diagnosis and treatment. Sort of related, James Vince has quit first-class cricket for 2025 to take up a deal in the PSL. So, why has he done that? Well, with the exception of the IPL, the ECB changed their stance on NOCs, that's no objection certificates, for competitions overlapping with the English summer in November 2024. Under the new rules, no county cricketer on an all-format contract is able to play in this season's PSL because it clashes with the county championship. But by changing to a white ball only contract with Hampshire, Vince is able to take up his deal with the Karachi Kings, reportedly worth around £100,000, despite the new policy. A series of unexplained attacks on Vince's home last year also played a part in the decision, with he and his family having relocated to Dubai. He stepped down after 9 years as club captain, but will continue to lead Hampshire in the T20 Blast. Tom Kohler-Cadmore is another player who could follow Vince's lead after he was picked up in the draft by Peshawar Zalmi. Australia have had a couple of injury scares this week ahead of their tour of Sri Lanka. Standing captain for the Test series, Steve Smith injured his right elbow in the Big Bash on Friday. It delayed Smith's departure for a training camp in Dubai, but he's been cleared by a specialist today to join up with the rest of the Test squad. Matt Kuhneman is also a doubt after undergoing surgery for a fractured thumb sustained in the BBL. On the topic of injuries, last week we said how Anrit Nortje was back for South Africa and Gerald Coetzee was unlucky to miss out. Well, Nortje is now out of the Champions Trophy with a back injury, and Coetzee, his probable replacement, has been ruled out of the rest of this season's SA20. Coetzee remains in contention according to Cricket South Africa, with a decision likely to be made in early February, but it's another blow to their pace bowling department ahead of the tournament. England Lions tour of Australia got underway last week with a 7-wicket defeat. Essex's Sam Cook impressed with 4 for 15 in the first innings, and 20-year-old Ben McKinney made a classy 94, but the tourists were comfortably beaten in Brisbane. Lachlan Hearn's rapid 100 from number 6 rescued his side's first innings, while Tim Ward's 115 stood a straightforward chase for the Cricket Australia 11. Perhaps most interestingly for England fans though, Shoaib Bashir was in action, recording match figures of 2 for 91 from 21 overs. Australia's women have officially retained the Ashes. England failed to chase 180 in the second ODI in Melbourne and were on the wrong end of Ash Gardner's first international 100 on Friday, losing the ODIs 3-0. Heather Knight's side needed to win all 3 remaining T20Is and the Test to regain the Ashes, but their dream ended this morning with defeat in the first T20I at Sydney by 57 runs. Could be a difficult 2 weeks. Indies women have been breaking records again in their series against Ireland. They bettered last week's 370 for 5 with 435 for 5 in Rajkot, winning the third ODI by a mammoth 304 runs. It was India's biggest margin of victory, their highest total, and the 4th highest total overall in women's ODI history. Karun Nair's incredible List A form also continued, but it wasn't quite enough to secure the Vijay Hazare Trophy title for Vidarbha. He made a whopping 779 runs from 8 innings with 5 centuries at an average of 389.5, dismissed only twice in the whole tournament. But there were no heroics in the final. Nair dismissed for 27 as Vidarbha fell 36 runs short, chasing 349 against Karnataka. Still, a ridiculous tournament. It's been all action in the Big Bash and now it's crunch time. Hobart Hurricanes top the table, Sydney Sixers finished second, Sydney Thunder third, and somehow Melbourne Stars 4th. Remember, this is the same Stars team that lost their first 5 games. Incredibly, they turned things around and won 5 in a row to make the knockouts, with Glenn Maxwell playing another starring role. Perth Scorchers didn't make it, but young Cooper Connolly finished as the group stage's leading run scorer ahead of David Warner and 23-year-old Mitchell Owen of the Hurricanes. Elsewhere in the BBL, runs for 2 of the Renegades' young stars as Jacob Bethel made 87 and Jake Fraser-McGurk a blistering 95 to cap off a difficult season. And there was a bizarre sequence involving the Renegades that saw 2 bowlers ejected from the attack for running through the danger zone. Pundits and commentators were shocked at the umpire's decision once, not least twice, especially in a T20 game where the Renegades would have to bat second. Will Sutherland and Fergus O'Neill were the guilty parties, leaving part-timer Josh Brown to bowl the rest of their allocation of overs. And that went about as well as you'd expect for an opening batter who's never bowled in a T20 before. 2.4 overs, no wickets, 48 runs. Switching leagues to the SA20, MI Cape Town are top after 5 rounds, with Par Royals not far behind. My new favourite player, Lhuan-dre Pretorius, was at it again, smashing a 52-ball 83 against an attack of Azmatullah Ramazai, Trent Bolt, Kigiso Rabada, Rashid Khan and George Linder. Remember, he's just 18. He made a first ball duck in Saturday's game against Pretoria Capitals, but Joe Root was on hand to guide the Royals to the highest ever chase in SA20 history. Root made 92 out off 60 balls, his joint highest T20 score, as the Royals reached their target of 213 with 2 balls to spare. What else have we got in the SA20? Let's see. Zach Crawley's had a quiet time so far. Liam Livingston was left out of Pretoria's last game after a lean run. Noor Ahmad has been borderline unplayable at times, and Ryan Rickleton picked up where he left off in the Test arena. And finally, let's run through a few stories quickly. An article in The Guardian has started an England-Australia culture war involving Sam Konstas and Raygun. Yeah, that breakdancer from the Olympics, which I'm not sure how to explain. We've had pay disputes in the Bangladesh Premier League, Stephen Fleming has stepped down as Southern Braves coach in the 100, and Nigeria have stunned New Zealand at the Women's Under-19 World Cup. Crazy. And that, I think, is just about everything for this week. Another super busy one. As always, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with any content requests for 2025. Catch you next week.